Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3461. Today's date is 23 June 2025. It's been almost like morning at 8:34 a.m. Lately, I'm actually recording Artifact during the morning. I realized that in the morning I can talk really well. I can express my thought really well as compared to during the evening or during the night, because after I eat dinner, I there are multiple thoughts in my head. Okay, another thing is that while I was recording Artifact, multiple disturbances actually happened. So it's not really kind of like something very, yeah, like I won't be able to record that much good, or I won't be able to express my thought that much good during the night. But during the morning, I feel really fresh. There is a very empty brain, very fresh. So I could record really well. All right. Yeah. By the way, today's weather is really good. Yeah. It's cloudy. Yes. It's a monsoon, but it's cloudy. And the cloudy weather is like really good. A little bit wind over here, but still it's really good kind of wind. Okay. So should we jump into the question? Yeah. All right. Let's directly jump into the question. Okay, question is, are men and women treated differently? Wait. When men and women treated differently when they post sexual content online, and does it matter if they are doing it for attention or money? Okay, yeah. That is a really good question. Yeah. Okay, what exactly is this question and why are you asking this question to yourself? Okay, yeah. Um why are you asking, first of all? Okay, so this question is actually about sexual kind of content. Okay, yeah. uh why am I asking this sexual type of questions to myself? it's a it's not really that kind of like something sexual that you think it is. It's a kind of like something that sexual awareness, probably, like basically this type of content that I am haven't really touched. I haven't really kind of like a talk about it. I haven't really put my opinion into about it. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that ki I was kind of like somebody heavily exposed by the sexual content through social media, and it just kind of like a feel really wrong. Okay, and I wanted to understand this topic in much more deeper way. Okay. uh okay, this is the one thing. Another thing is that ki what is actually another thing? um I don't know. It's just like that, na. Ki lately in Artifact episode, I am actually kind of like a talk about multiple topics. Okay, yeah. Before means like almost like a 2-3 year ago, I was kind of like a somebody recording Artifact regarding about what exactly happened, this and this and that and that. It doesn't really that productive. Okay, yeah, it that nothing really at all. Yeah. But when I asked this question to myself, it felt really good. It felt really that is something I gain value and things like that. Alright, yeah. So that's why I'm kind of like asking this question to understand what is actually my opinion, to gain little bit of information regarding about particular topic. Okay, yeah. And about a sexual kind of content, it's not sexual by the way, it's a sexual awareness, probably. What I'm trying to tell you, I don't know. It's my opinion. Yeah. All right. So okay. So what is at least this question? So the question is that ki is there is a kind of like a something men and women are kind of like a doing the same sexual kind of contact. What is at least this thing? Okay. Yeah. Uh okay. Let me understand this question very much properly. Okay. Yeah. What is actually the question? Are men and women treated differently when they post sexual content online? Does all those men and women treat differently? Definitely. That is definitely. Does it matter? It is really matter. If they are doing it, They are attention for money, like are those people are actually doing it for attention or money? Okay, that's a really good question. Okay, yeah. Let's just understand this question step by step to kind of like a breakdown and simple format. Okay, yeah. Imagine there is a girl like to do gymming. Okay, yeah. Like to do gymming, like basically she likes gym, she likes to do gym. Okay, yeah. Gymming is a really good thing, good habit. Okay, yeah. It's like that ki um we are control our body. Okay, yeah. We have rights to control our body. Okay, yeah. We also have rights to how do we showcase our body to other. Yeah, we have rights, and there is no government, there is nothing really at all will kind of like stop you to do anything at all, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah, means like that whatever you wanted to do with your body, it's your choice, no one will gonna stop you. Like a people will gonna kind of like a for the taking care point of perspective, they will gonna say this thing, do not do this thing, do not do this thing, but the right is up to you. You are control of your body, you have complete control rights of your body. Okay, yeah. And this is the human rights. If you went to anywhere on the place, okay, yeah, like if you went to Russia, US, Europe, India, whatever it is, okay, yeah, you have rights of your body. Okay, yeah. What is actually rights of your body means like that he you can do whatever you want to do with your body. Okay, yeah. There is no government will gonna stop you, nothing really at all. Maybe doctor or kind of like some people will gonna kind of like suggest you to not to do those things for the health reason and things like that, but still it's your choice if you wanted to kind of like somebody listen those advices or not. Okay, yeah, because it's your body, it's your right. Okay, first thing let's just understand. Now jump to the example. Okay, example is this thing, there is a girl. Okay, yeah, she likes to do gymming. Okay, she likes to do gymming, she likes to do workout, she likes to do things like that. Okay, yeah. And there is a guy who is also love gymming too, also love kind of like a doing flexing body and things like that. Okay, yeah. Now what exactly happened, that girl is kind of like a went to the gym, did kind of like a gymming and things like that. She created apps. Okay, she created apps. By the way, female can also generate apps too. Okay, yeah. So she kind of like a created apps by the heavy workout and things like that. Okay, yeah. And she kind of like a, somebody took a photo and upload that photo on social media platform. Same thing happened with the guys. Okay, yeah, like a guy did the same thing, he went to workout, he did gymming, he has apps, he took a photo, upload that photo on social media platform. Now there is a two photo that we have. Okay, yeah, with similar background, the similar thing, everything is similar, just gender change. There is a female, there is a male, that's it. Okay, yeah. Now when you upload those piece of content on social media platform, the the kind of like some people perspectives are very different regarding about girl and regarding about boy. Okay, yeah. In let's talk about the boy point of perspective. Okay, yeah. Like if the boy is actually uploaded that kind of like a something the fit body kind of like apps kind of like a something content on social media platform, people might consider as a manly, people might consider as a kind of like a somebody strong, people might consider as a kind of like a somebody good, kind of like a somebody stirred, kind of like a somebody cool, kind of like a somebody like all those good stuff. Yeah, all those kind of like somebody affirmative that you word that you could describe. Yeah, and I also do the same thing. Okay, yeah, like if I could kind of like a somebody see a kind of like a somebody the man who is kind of like uploading photo of his bodies and apps and kind of like a somebody all those cuts in everything in his bodies, I feel really good, I feel that this guy is really manly, full of confidence and things like that. Yeah, but when I see a girl photo, same thing, my perspective became very different. Oh yeah, my perspective became kind of like a something little bit of sexualize. Oh, a little bit of kind of like a something that she is doing this for kind of like a simply uploading sexual content. Like basically the affirmation word that I have for man, like a strong, confident, manly, these are cool. These are kind of like affirmation does not work on female content point of perspective. No, like basically I would like baby I am kind of like a little bit mature, so I would kind of like, I will not gonna think that it's a kind of like something sexual. I just feel like that yeah, that is okay. Yeah, because I am literally matured enough to understand what is actually right and things, and I see little bit of world. Okay, yeah. So probably I am little bit understand that thing. But there are 8 billions of people are living on this planet. Okay, yeah. Each person has a different point of perspective, and those perspective are come from their environment and things like that. So if the girl is actually upload the photo regarding about her showing her abs and things like that, almost like 100 out of 70 to 80% of the content would kind of like a consider as a sexual kind of content, kind of like a something harassment, bully, or kind of like a things that she is doing it for kind of like a something like the prostitute or things like that for attracting money to showcase our body and things like that. Okay, yeah. This is what kind of like a something the change of perspective is actually change regarding about men, regarding about women too. Okay, yeah. But why this thing happened? Yeah, like why? What is actually reason for that? Okay, like basically is this thing, it happened with me too. Okay, it happened with me too. I should supposed to be accept this thing even if I'm kind of like a understand all those things, all those perspective and things like that. Still I consider that key kind of like a something male who's actually uploading photos regarding about gymming and things like that, I consider to be a mainly consider to be strong, confident and things like that. But same photo that girl is actually uploaded, I consider to be little bit of something like sexual and things like that. Okay, yeah. Why my mentalities are kind of like a things like that, I'm trying to question my mentality why I'm actually think like that. Okay, yeah. Well, it's kind of like a somebody our thought process is kind of like a simply situated around the surrounding. Okay, yeah, like a whatever the surrounding that we have, our thought process are associated with that thing. Okay, yeah. But not only the surrounding, but as well as kind of like a something our history, our traditional culture, our everything. Okay, yeah. Like basically from every civilization, let's say like a Mesopotamian civilization or Indus Valley civilization, Chinese civilization, Mayan, every civilization I'm talking about almost like a thousands of years ago. Okay, yeah. When usually is this thing, male and women has a kind of like a something very different role for kind of like a survive. Okay, yeah. Like a male has to kind of like a bring food for the family. Okay, so if that particular person that have to go for hunting and things like that for food, probably that particular man really required kind of like a somebody very healthy body, kind of like abs and things and strong and muscular and things like that. Okay, yeah. And basically is this thing that these are kind of like a somebody value are considered to be admiration, like a basically people are kind of like somebody admire to have this kind of like somebody body or kind of like a strongness and things like that. Okay, yeah. And it's actually happened from thousands of years ago. Okay, yeah. Men are actually have to be kind of like a somebody strong because they are going outside, they are kind of like a bringing food for family and things like that. So basically is this thing, men should supposed to be a strong. And I'm not saying it that like basically all the history, all the everything, like you watch any movie, any historical part, men are meant to be strong. Okay, yeah. And this is kind of like a some thought process that still exists. Okay, yeah. Even if the men are completely weak, but still they are meant to be strong, they are meant to be strong. Now regarding about female is a very different thing. Okay, yeah. Because female is a kind of like a something that ki considered to be not that much strong. Okay, yeah. Because since the thousands of year ago, female are kind of like a something a role to survive, to support the male, as well as kind of like a support the family, support the children and things like that. Okay, by the way, the stuff that I'm saying is a kind of like something very like a racist or things like that, but it's not. I'm kind of like a telling the truthful fact regarding about what is actually happening in history and things like that, because that is true. Okay, because since the thousands of year ago, women are kind of like a pursuing a role as a kind of like a supporter for as a family or things and that. Oh yeah. But since this modern world kind of like a something things change. Okay, yeah, we have equal rights not only as a male but as well as female too. Okay, yeah, equal rights to regarding about what they want in their life and career and things and something like that. Okay, yeah. So right now we have equal rights not only as a male but as well as female too. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, thousands of year ago male are meant to be strong. Right now female are also, if they want, if her want to, if she wanted to be a strong, she can become strong, like a do gymming, do things and something like that. Okay, yeah. But the perspective, our perspective, our kind of like a third person point of perspective is doesn't really change that much. Yeah, we are kind of like have equal rights in the document or paper or things like that, but our perspective is actually come up from thousands of years ago. Okay, yeah. And this perspective does not really shift or does not really change within just couple of year or within just couple of paper or no, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a something happened. This is what kind of like a something that ki women are kind of like a treated very differently regarding about the uploading little bit of something sexual, not even sexual, like basically the girl is actually kind of like a showing her abs. Okay, showing her kind of like a something that ki how she fit. Okay, yeah, that's it. She's not actually kind of like a showing any kind of like a cleavage or anything at all. She just kind of like a showing how much she has fit body. That's it. Okay, yeah. But our perspective is a kind of like a look very different. Our perspective is that to think like that ki she is like a sexy, she's kind of like a simply slut, she's kind of like a simply the prostitute and things like that. And this is what kind of like a simply very wrong, very wrong. So regarding about where they look at, okay, where like if regarding about kind of like a some difference, this is what kind of like a some difference happened. And okay, so if this kind of like a something different, what kind of like a stuff should I supposed to do, or what kind of like a step should I supposed to do to not this thing happen, to not kind of like a something those sexual or kind of like a something that key like we shouldn't supposed to be see the girl and boy very differently. What kind of like a should I do to make this thing as equal? Okay, yeah. Well, I can I do anything at all? Well, probably is this thing na ki education might be kind of like a somebody work. Okay, yeah, like if we do kind of like a right education to the people, to the things regarding about what is actually human body, what is actually their parts, what is actually their matter to them, things and something like that. Education might be kind of like a very big role to impact on them, to kind of like a show them really correct way to look at each other and things like that. Okay, because we are in modern world and in the future we will gonna enter in even more modern world. Okay, yeah. And our thought process are kind of like somebody really cold, then might be kind of like a somebody really not that good. Okay, so it is really essential to be to kind of like a pursue a right education for the children to kind of like understand them better. Okay, yeah. But still it will not gonna change that much easily, because even if you do all those education and things like that, but the history that we have for almost like a thousands of year ago will not gonna shifted easily. Okay, yeah. Still we are humans, still we are man, like a basically I am a man and I'm kind of like a something that key I like basically if the girl is kind of like a wearing some sort of revealing clothes, I still consider to be a little bit of sexual, even if I kind of like a record the artifact and kind of like understand this thing and something like that. I will not kind of like a somebody like a create any judgment or things like that, but still I just like okay, what exactly happened just a couple of days ago, there is a kind of like a something woman is on the bike. Okay, yeah, she was actually wearing something like a maybe a top, a crop top, maybe I'm not really sure what exactly that. Okay, yeah. But she was actually sitting on the bike on somewhere. Okay, maybe her boyfriend or things like that. Okay, yeah. So I was actually going to the workout. Okay, so I was at the back. Okay, like basically I am actually behind and those people are actually going ahead. Okay, yeah. So basically what exactly happened that ki when she sit on the bike, I can see her like a kind of like a somebody entire back, not entire back by the way, kind of like a somebody that ki from the comer area back. Okay, yeah. But I could see that thing and it was feel little bit of uncomfortable to me. Okay, yeah. As well as I'm gonna tell you, I am from local city. Okay, yeah. My environment is not really that much kind of like a something really good, not really that kind of like a something that he allows you to kind of like a somebody like basically is this thing that key like when I see that particular thing, when I see that girl is actually have this kind of like a crop top and I'm seeing this particular kind of like a something back area, it felt little bit of uncomfortable, it felt little bit of something like that ki I don't know, I indirectly or directly I might judge her. Okay, yeah. I thought that ki like a what if she wear a jacket, that might be kind of like a something really good. Like if she went to the venue, then might kind of like a remove that jacket and then she could wear anything that she want. But while in the public, she should supposed to be wear the jacket to kind of like a block that particular area that revealing might be. But still, this is what kind of like something happened. Even if I'm kind of like something have all the information and things like that, I'm still talking, still recording artifact and things like that, still I'm considered, still I'm thinking like that, still I judge that girl. Okay, yeah. So probably what I'm trying to tell you is this thing. Why is this thing? Okay, why? I don't know, dude. Yeah, it's like that, na ki we are humans. Okay, we are humans, and I really wanted to not to think like that. I really no, I really want to not to think like that. I really want to kind of like a something that ki if I'm seeing a kind of like a somebody girl on bikini, I don't want to think like that kind of like a somebody sexual things. I don't want to think like that. But still, I started think why is that thing? It's because of how we made in a such a way. What do you mean by that? What exactly is this thing? Okay, yeah. Okay, so I am gonna tell you very different perspective regarding about. Okay, yeah. If you are living in Florida is a kind of like a something a place. Let's just say Miami. Miami is a city, by the way. Okay, yeah. In a United State is a country, US, America. Miami is a city in that particular country. Okay, yeah. Miami is a kind of like a something that key, such a city where every day is a party. Okay, and this place is meant to do kind of like a parties. This place is meant to do kind of like a something that key, yeah, it's a party, yeah. Like a Miami have a beach. Okay, yeah, beach area where people are kind of like a wearing swimming suit and things like that. Okay, yeah. So if I born in Miami, okay, yeah, my perspective might be kind of like a very different. My perspective might be kind of like a very different to look at the girl and things like that, because in the Miami, the girl on bikini is very common over there, that it doesn't really feel that much kind of like something sexual to me. Yeah, if I born over there, if I born in kind of like a Miami, but I didn't really born in Miami, I born in India, I born in kind of like a local city where kind of like a like in my entire life I only seen once a girl on bikini, only see one time, like when I almost like in 2021, almost like a 4 year ago, I went to Goa, and over that period of time I seen a kind of like a some woman. She's actually from Russia, maybe, I'm not really sure. She's actually wearing kind of like a black bikini and things like that, and when I see that thing, I was like, what the fuck. Like this is the first time I'm seeing a kind of like a something that much revealing growth, that much revealing clothes first time on women body. I was like, what the fuck that I see. Okay, because let me tell you one thing, when you see on kind of like a some sort of screen and when you see in real life, like a far much difference, dude, far much difference. And I just like, I can't even understand what the fuck did I watch. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like something happened is because of that ki where I grow, where is actually influence did I get and things like that. Okay, yeah. So do you think that ki influence is a kind of like a something matter, that ki if I born in Miami, or kind of like a somebody that ki if I have this kind of like a somebody, if I born in Miami, then might be I will not gonna think like that sexual, and if I born in India, so I'm think like sexual. So like basically, does environment is kind of like a something putting a role to kind of like a make me to kind of like a thinking me that bad? Okay, yeah, like I'm asking this question to myself. Okay, yeah, like environment does it in somewhat, yes. Okay, yeah, but I will not kind of like consider that ki it's completely 100%. Okay, yeah. As I mentioned earlier, yes, if I born in Miami, I will not gonna think like that sexual thing all the time. Okay, yeah, like if I'm seeing any kind of like a bikini girl, I might not gonna think anything at all. Okay, yeah, but let me tell you one thing. Okay, yeah, we all the people, we are not living in Miami. Okay, yeah, we are all the people are actually living in our country, very different from people and things like that. Okay, yeah. Why does I think like that? Okay, why does I think I'm kind of like considering my opinion. Okay, yeah. um Basically is this thing, let's just consider from a nature point of perspective. Okay, yeah. Nature wants to grow our species. Okay, yeah. Everything are kind of like assembly is this thing that ki every species are born on this planet. Okay, yeah. Let's just say algae, amoeba, from bacteria to kind of like a human being to kind of like a something, the birds to monkeys to lion to anything, any species at all. Like you just consider any species. Each species has its own purpose. Okay, what is that purpose? To reproduction. And that is really essential for nature, because of that key reproduction is a kind of like a something way to not only grow the species, but as well as kind of like a something create the kind of like a something eco culture in our kind of like a something surrounding situation and things like that. Okay, yeah. Reproduction is a kind of like a something only one purpose that nature wants you to follow, that purpose, reproduction. Okay, yeah. Because if there is no reproduction happen, then probably the species will not gonna survive. Okay, yeah. So nature is kind of like did something little bit of changes inside of us. Okay, yeah. Not only us, not only to the human, but every species on the planet, that key make the reproduction process kind of like a good, kind of like a somebody feel really good. Okay, yeah. Kind of like a somebody feel that key something like that key, it is kind of like a somebody that key utmost really essential part of thing. Okay, yeah. So how does nature did that thing? By kind of like a add a little bit of feeling. Like basically is this thing, why does we feel really horny when we see sexual content, or kind of like a somebody sexual women, or kind of like a things or something like that? Why does we are kind of like a somebody sexually aroused? Is because of that ki nature is actually created us in a such a way that we meant to do a reproduction, because it is meant, it is kind of like a somebody our kind of like a default purpose. This is what kind of like a somebody we born for that. Okay, yeah. And it's not kind of like a somebody for the human, but as well as every species, as a dog, as a cat, as a lion, as everything, reproduction is the utmost really essential thing. Do you consider that key? I also feel really horny when I'm kind of like a simply seeing any sexual kind of like a somebody content. Does any kind of like a somebody species would kind of like feel that? Yes, they do feel like that. They do feel little bit of joy when they are kind of like a do this thing and things like that, because it's a nature is kind of like a builder such a way to kind of like a simply do more kind of like a simply reproduction, because this is the way that your species will gonna survive for a longer period of time. Okay, and this is what really essential for kind of like a simply for building nature and things like that. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a simply matter. Okay, so like as I consider to be a human, we are kind of like a something that key we feel little bit of sexually aroused when I kind of like a scene any kind of like a something the sexual type of content or kind of like a things that. Okay, yeah. Yes, we are living in modern world, we have kind of like a so many ways to control our body, control our thought process and things like that. But when we are trying to do those things, we are kind of like a fighting with its own our default purpose probably. But still I might be kind of like a completely wrong over there, over in this particular thing, because it's my opinion. I don't know is it right or wrong. It's my opinion, by the way. Okay, because if I say this thing that he doing a reproduction is a kind of like a simply our default purpose, and we have to do those things, then this might be completely wrong, because if it is kind of like a giving the favor to the rapist. Okay, because rapist will gonna say this thing that ki I born for this reproduction, so I did kind of like a rape with her. So this is really not good. Okay, this is really not that good. Okay, yeah. So this statement is kind of like a simply add a favor to the people who do kind of like a sexual criminal activity. Okay, yeah. And sexual criminal activity is also really wrong thing, because we are living in this modern world, we have kind of like a, some sort of rules to live properly. Okay, yeah. And if you are kind of like a living like a kind of like a something like that animal and things like that, it's very wrong, very wrong. Okay, yeah. So it is really essential to understand that key control probably. Okay, yeah. Less, yeah, that is true that ki we are born and we are kind of like born in such a way that this is kind of like something happened, but control is a kind of like a thing that we have. and that is more essential thing. Okay, that is more kind of like something that key essential thing. So regarding about the question says that key does we kind of like a look very differently from girl or boys point of perspective if they are kind of like a doing the same activity like a gymming, then yeah, like our perspective is actually changed regarding about men and women. Definitely, that is definitely true. Okay, yeah. Now I'm gonna ask the question. Okay, yeah, that key why they are doing it, like for like if the person is actually doing it for kind of like a somebody attention or money, why does they do that? Okay, why does they do that? Okay, yeah. Okay, that's a kind of like a very different line over there. Okay, yeah, like if you involve the attention and money, there is a kind of like a two different term. Okay, yeah. Attention means like that he kind of like the girl is actually doing the gymming. Okay, yeah, and boy is actually doing the gymming. Okay, let's just take the two example. Okay, yeah, who do you think which post will get more attention, a girl post or boy post? Obviously girls post get more attention. Why? Why does that? Because as I mentioned, we are human. We are kind of like a somebody sexually aroused by the kind of like a somebody female body. Oh yeah, and things like that. So obviously, is this saying that ki if I see any kind of like a girl photo, I would kind of like feel more sexually aroused. Okay, towards that girl. So getting more engagement. When I see the men is actually uploading kind of like a somebody apps and gym photo, I will not gonna do kind of like I will not gonna feel sexually aroused, but I will gonna feel admiration. Okay, but if I try to compare the sexually aroused emotion and admiration means like that ki kind of like a somebody that ki look cool and things like that. So which kind of like a somebody emotion is much more stronger? Sexual arouse is a bit more stronger than kind of like admiration and things like that. So sexual arouse is a kind of like a somebody be more stronger. So basically the girl photo get more attention, that means she get more likes, followers, comment and things like that as compared to male. All right, yeah, get it. But if the woman is actually getting so much amount of attention and things like that, then as well as in the comment box things might be very ugly, because most of people are actually considered that he slut, body shaming, or kind of like a prostitute or things like that. It is very common. Yeah, it is very common. Yeah, and this is what like I already explained that why this thing is actually happen, why does kind of like a things like that. Okay, yeah. And as well as internet user, basically in the internet user, the male user are much more than female user on internet. Okay, in all around the world. Okay, yeah. So yeah, and not only the internet user, but as well as kind of like a simply male and female ratio too, because all around the world male are kind of like a higher in number as compared to women in number. Okay, yeah. Like let's just say the world population is almost like 1,000, then probably in the 1,000 almost like a 700 are male, then 300 are female. Okay, yeah. Like I'm kind of like a giving the judgment. Okay, yeah, it's not kind of like a completely true, but this is what it is. Okay, yeah. So regarding about the number of female are also less, and number of female on internet is also become really less. So number of male user are really more, then probably they are more get sexually aroused with a female post. So female post get more attention. Okay, get more attention. Now let's talk about the money. Okay, yeah. Who is kind of like a simply earning money, or if the person wants to earn money from this thing, what what kind of like a somebody stuff, what kind of like things happen, what is actually our, yeah, like when you involve money, because when we involve money things might be kind of like a very different game. Oh yeah, because when we are involved money, then probably there is a like a lot of things might be changed. Okay, yeah, like uh not lot of change, but still something. Yeah, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing. There is a website called OnlyFans. Okay, yeah. OnlyFans is a kind of like a something, a website where the women can kind of like a somebody express their sexual body without any hesitation, without anything, without any restriction. They just, yeah, and they will also earn money through it, by the way. Okay, yeah, like basically the people who actually seen her photo video, those people are kind of like giving the money to her, so indirectly that women are actually earning money from her body, her kind of like some sexual behavior and things like that. Okay, yeah, but if the boy does it, if the men are kind of like doing it, that yeah, like basically is this thing that let's just take an example now. Okay, yeah, you have credit card with at almost like $1,000. Okay, yeah, and you have to spend that $1,000 on OnlyFans. Okay, yeah, so what kind of like a somebody that which kind of like a somebody profile that you willing to spend money on, your money on boys or girls? I would spend money on girls. Now, why would I supposed to spend money on boys to kind of like look them naked? No, I don't want that because I'm straight, right? Yeah, that is true. So regarding about money and attention, um, the women gets more attention as well as women gets more money too. Okay, yeah, but as well as the body shaming, the slut shaming and all those kind of like some shameful comment, or also women gets more too as compared to male are considered to be strong and things like that. So they are kind of like a look at the admiration, and people are actually looking at the admiration. They will not consider to be that much kind of like something simply sexually aroused, so they will people are kind of like considered to be that it's a strong and things like that. Like regarding about strong and sexy, which is kind of like a things that if you choose, so probably is this thing, if I wanted to kind of like a something I feel really good, I have to go for sexy. But if I have kind of like a long purpose, kind of like a I want it to be kind of like a feel really strong for a longer period of time, then yeah. But regarding about this is kind of like only my opinion. Might be I'm completely wrong with this thing, but this is my opinion probably. Okay, I'm also regarding about the stuff that I say in this artifact, it's not meant to be kind of like something I want to judge, or I don't want to judge. I don't know. It is kind of like somebody giving my opinion. I know it's something really, my opinion is not really right, but it's my thought. And thought might be changed respect to the time. Okay, yeah. So I willing to change my thoughts. I willing to change my kind of like something action and things like that. But at this moment, this is what is it. This is my opinion probably. Okay, if someone feel really hurtful, I'm deeply sorry for everything. Probably this is the most I could do right now. This is it. And thank you.